LegalEagle is coming in loud and clear thanks to Ting Mobile.
What about human rights law?
Oh no.
No money, no money.
Oh no!
Environmental law?
No money, even less money.
Immigration law?
No money, plus it's a bummer.
Oh, that hurts my heart because it's so true. Hey Legal Eagles, it's time to think like a lawyer. Today we are covering the long-requested Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and specifically a music video that shows up in season 4 called Don't Be a Lawyer.
Don't be a lawyer.
I remember really liking Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I think I saw a couple of the episodes from season 1. They clearly did their research about what it's like to be an attorney, and the musical numbers were really good too. If memory serves, I think this is about a woman who is a partner in a Boston law firm, or she's just about to become partner, and she decides to give that up, follow an ex-boyfriend or someone she wanted to be her boyfriend out to California, but not any place in California, specifically to Riverside, California, or to some other place in the Inland Empire, which I've actually practiced there, and it's not my favorite place in the world. Come at me, West Covina. Oh boy, I'm gonna get some hate for that one. As always, be sure to comment in the form of an objection, which I will either sustain or overrule, and stick around until the end of the video where I give Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Don't Be a Lawyer a grade for legal realism. So, without further ado, let's dig in to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
I'm majoring in PRELAW myself.
Oh, no. Bad idea, trust me. Being a lawyer is the worst.
Rude.
Stand back and let me tell you my tale of woe.
Didn't know what I wanted to do. So I took the LSAT and then just like that, got accepted at Glendale U.
Okay, right off the bat, this is definitely accurate to a lot of people that want to go to law school. First of all, the test that you take to get into law school is called the LSAT, you probably know that. But more importantly, there's so many people who aren't sure what they want to do for a living, and so they delay going into the real world by taking the LSAT and going to law school. And invariably, these are the people that have the worst experiences in law school, because law school is a whole bucket of stress. And if you aren't sure, if you aren't absolutely positive that you want to be a lawyer, don't go to law school. It's not worth it. All of the advantages of law school can be achieved in other places for a lot less money under a lot less stress. Frankly, you're probably better off just getting a loan for $300,000 and then lighting it on fire and posting it to Instagram, because that's pretty much what you're doing if you're going to law school and you're not really sure you want to be a lawyer.
Everyone said it was a real safe bet, a prestigious and lucrative vocation. So I set out on a journey to become an attorney without a moment's hesitation.
Yeah, okay, so this is another big myth about law school. People think that it's prestigious and that you're guaranteed to get a good job. The thing is that the really well-paying jobs out of law school really are only achieved by maybe the top 10% of law graduates. And if you go to a really good law school, like say Harvard or Yale or something, maybe the top 50% of those graduates get those really prestigious and well-paying jobs. If you're going to a lower-ranked school, the chances are less that you'll get those jobs, and you might be making just barely over the median salary. The median salary for law graduates is about $70,000, which granted is a lot more than the median salary in the US, which is about $55,000, but still, it costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars to get that, and that doesn't go very far if you're living in a major city like New York or Los Angeles.
But here's some free advice I'm giving.
Not legal advice.
When it comes to deciding what to do for a living, don't be a lawyer.
So look, like I said, if you aren't sure that you want to be a lawyer, you should definitely not be a lawyer. And even if you are sure that you want to be a lawyer, sometimes it's not the best decision that you can make. And frankly, there's so many people that say, oh, I'm really good at arguing, or I'm really good on my feet, so therefore I should be an attorney. Lawyers in real life actually don't do that kind of stuff all that often. Certainly if you're a trial lawyer, you'll probably be in court more often than transactional attorneys. But even then, almost all of what attorneys do is legal research and legal writing. You are stuck in a cubicle or an office and you're just writing in front of a computer screen all day. So it's definitely not as glamorous as it's often made out to be.
Don't be a lawyer. Don't do it. Quickest way to ruin your life. Don't be a lawyer. Not worth it. It'll leave you dead inside.
These guys have some pretty interesting suits. If only there was some sort of custom suit maker that could make really nice custom slim fit suits for them instead of these weird pink and burgundy things that they're wearing. Indochino.
The job is inherently crappy. That's why you've never met a lawyer who's happy. It's a guaranteed soul destroyer. Don't be a lawyer.
Oh, wait a minute. So the blackboard here, this is, it's a bar exam. All of these students are taking the bar exam. You can tell because in the bottom right-hand corner, it mentions the MBE. The MBE is the multi-state bar exam. It's a sort of universal bar exam, at least for the multiple choice questions. Every state has a different bar exam, so no lawyer can practice in every single state. You'd have to take every single state's bar exam. But the MBE allows states to sort of reuse multiple choice questions in a single year. And funny story, when I was taking the bar exam on the first day, and this, remember, was in Los Angeles, California, there was an earthquake during the first session of the exam. And you could tell who was from California and who wasn't from California because the ones who were not from California were hiding under their desk. And then the Californians just went on continuing with their test while the out-of-state folks were cowering for their lives. That's why I passed. Okay, despite what you may want, I am absolutely not even going to try to attempt to learn this dance. I will say though that in doing some research for this video, I did see that another legal YouTuber had both covered this video and impressively learned this dance.
Don't be a lawyer. Don't do it. Quickest way to ruin your life.
Her name is Eve Cornwell. She is a law student from the UK, though I think now she's probably an actual practicing attorney. I'll put a link to her video in the description. Definitely check her out and give her some subscribers. And by the way, I was checking my analytics and only 30% of the people that watch my videos are actually subscribed to my channel. So please, seriously, subscribe. What are you doing?
Law school debt, daily regret. Is that what you dreamed of as a kid? Or did you hope one day that you find a way to spend 4 years working on a pharmaceutical company's merger with another pharmaceutical company?
Oh, that's so true. Well, it's partially true. So, like I said, when you're a young attorney, you get staffed on these giant cases, especially if you go into big law, which is what I did. The only companies and individuals that can afford these ridiculous rates of like $1,000 an hour are huge companies, Fortune 500 companies. And so odds are you're gonna get staffed on something like a pharmaceutical company's merger with another pharmaceutical company. Though in fairness, it's really only transactional attorneys that are going to be stuck on something like that. If you're a litigator, odds are you'll get stuck on something like the pharmaceutical company's bankruptcy plan or the pharmaceutical company's lawsuit against another pharmaceutical company for a possible infringement of some pharmaceutical patent. And generally speaking, there are two main types of attorneys. There are the transactional attorneys that are going to work on the contracts and the business plans and mergers and acquisitions. And then there are the people that you call in when something goes wrong to litigate, the litigators and trial lawyers, let's call them real lawyers. Now, I don't want you to think that transactional attorneys aren't real lawyers. I mean, they're not real lawyers, but I definitely don't want you to think that. Oh boy, I'm gonna get some very well-worded, angry emails from a bunch of transactional attorneys. But what are they gonna do? Sue me? They can't.
Your only expertise is running up fees, speaking legalese like a dick.
Big myth. Actually, we try to avoid using legalese because it's really not persuasive, whether it's to a layperson, like a member of a jury or the judge. We try to avoid any legalese if we can possibly avoid it. So it's really mainly the law students that use legalese in completely improper situations.
But it's not too late to avoid this fate. Find any other job to pick. Sure, your parents might think you're a failure, but no one's ever said, first let's kill all the tailors.
Why would anyone want to kill someone that makes such affordable, high-quality, custom-made suits? Indochino. And this kind of reminds me of a famous lawyer joke where a person is talking to the devil. They say, for my first wish, I wish that all the lawyers were dead or disappeared, and the devil grants it and all the lawyers are gone. And then they make a second wish and the devil reneges on the agreement, and he says, what are you gonna do? Sue me? All the lawyers are gone. I know you all wish we would disappear, but it's in everyone's best interest if we don't. I'm sorry.
Don't be a lawyer. I'm serious, it really, really sucks. Don't be a lawyer. No one you work with looks like Ally McBeal.
Oh man. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ally McBeal. I definitely grew up watching Ally McBeal, and God, I loved it. Obviously I loved Law and Order probably the best. And Law and Order is one of the reasons that I became a lawyer. It was amazing. But frankly, Ally McBeal made it seem like a whole lot more fun.
I can't stop this feeling.
I should probably do a Real Lawyer Reacts to Ally McBeal at some point. Let me know if I should do that.
There are so many other professions that don't turn you into Jeff Sessions.
Look, Jeff Sessions is barely a lawyer. Don't lump him into everyone else that happens to practice in the legal field. We may not look like Ally McBeal, but we also don't sell our souls the same way that Jeff Sessions did.
Just say no to the lawyer employer. No, don't be a lawyer.
What about human rights law?
Oh
No
no.
money, no money.
Oh no!
Environmental law?
No money, even less money.
Immigration law?
No money, plus it's a bummer.
Oh, that hurts my heart because it's so true. There's so many people that want to go into these different variations of public interest law, and they really don't pay very well. Also, I would lump into that being a public defender, which, look, I am not the kind of person that rallies behind district attorneys. I think it is totally proper and good that public defenders are out there, providing a defense to the indigent. But there's so many forms of the legal profession that are worthwhile, and they're good for the country, and they're good for the soul, but they really don't pay very much. And things like environmental law and immigration law, yeah, they definitely fall into that category. You know what really gets it right is How I Met Your Mother. Marshall is a law student in that, and he eventually becomes an environmental lawyer. He leaves big law and takes a salary cut of like 100% or like 90% of what his salary is to go into this environmental law. And that's really, really accurate.
Okay, but what if one day you make it to the Supreme Court?
It'd be great to be on the Supreme Court, but you'll never be on the Supreme Court. No chance of that happening.
That is so true. I mean, think about it. There are 9 justices on the Supreme Court, and there are literally hundreds of thousands of attorneys in the US alone, not to mention hundreds of thousands of law students, tens of thousands of law professors out there. The chances of getting one of the 9 spots on the Supreme Court are basically zero. Plus, you need to be effectively personal friends with the president or potentially the Senate Majority Leader. So yeah, you're not getting on the Supreme Court. Also, that would be a terrible job. I just don't understand why people would want to do it. Maybe if they are power hungry, I guess, but man, doesn't seem worth it to me.
The preceding song in no way reflects the views of CBS and the CW network. Ah, screw it.
Oh no. I had some very interesting interactions with the lawyers from CBS. That's a story for another day, but let's just say I'm not super sad that that just happened to that CBS lawyer.
See? Don't be a lawyer.
Oh my God. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So with that being said, let's give Crazy Ex-Girlfriend a grade for legal realism. On the one hand, you have some hilarious insights into the crap that new attorneys have to deal with. The drudgery, sometimes the lack of pay, sometimes not getting the job that you want. There's a lot of really terrible outcomes for a large swath of the people that are out there that become lawyers. On the other hand, if you're like me and you were watching Law and Order for fun when you were 10 years old and convinced your parents that it was educational TV because you wanted to be a lawyer, then law school is probably right for you, and being a lawyer is probably right for you. I have never regretted the time that I've spent practicing. I've been practicing for over 12 years now, and most of it has been wonderful. Once you get past the drudgery of being a first or second or third year attorney, it gets better after that. So, you can push all the grunt work onto those other poor new first year attorneys out there. And I suspect it's the same if you're a doctor as well. The first years are terrible, and then it gets better over time, and the pay gets better over time. So all in all, I give Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Don't Be a Lawyer an A-. It's a great song and a hilarious critique of the legal profession. Now, if you decide that you want to go to law school, you'll definitely need to save some money. And the first place that you can start is on your cell phone bill. You can save a ton of money with Ting Mobile. And bonus, if you do go to law school, Ting Mobile will help you call your parents asking for money. and the call will be super clear. Ting Mobile is a different kind of mobile provider. With Ting, you only pay for your actual data and services that you use at the end of the month. And because you're only paying for what you actually use, Ting customers pay on average just $23 per month for one device. And there's no contract, no overage fees, or any other carrier tricks. You just pay a fair price for the talk, text, and data that you use every month. And Ting has award-winning customer service. Because they don't have to pay for brick and mortar stores, they can pour their resources into their phone support. If you have an issue, you can call them up and you will immediately talk to a human being. And if you're like me and you don't want to talk to human beings, they offer support through chat, email, and social media. With Ting, you can use almost any cell phone, including iPhones and Google Pixel phones, and Ting provides great LTE coverage because it uses both the T-Mobile and Sprint networks. So even if the FTC continues to block the merger between those two companies, like the merger of the pharmaceutical companies, with a merger with a pharmaceutical company, you can still benefit from both networks. And exciting news, they just added Verizon, the country's largest network. So now you get access to 3 giant networks, including Verizon, wherever you go with your Ting mobile phone. And with Ting, especially if you're around Wi-Fi all the time, which most of us are, you'll end up paying way less than you do now. Yes, some of us should pay $200 per month for unlimited data, but if you're surrounded by Wi-Fi all day long, you might be paying hundreds of dollars more per month completely unnecessarily. Ting gives you the option to pay only for what you use. So if you go to legaleagle.ting.com, you can use your last bill to compare just how much you would save. And all of you Legal Eagles will get a $25 service credit by going to legaleagle.ting.com or using the link in the description. And that $25 credit could cover your entire first month. And since there are no contracts, you can try it for a month, no strings attached. Again, all you have to do is click on the link in the description or go to legaleagle.ting.com and get a $25 service credit for whatever service you choose. Plus, clicking on the link really helps out this channel. So, do you agree with my grade? Leave your objections in the comments and check out this playlist over here with all of my other real lawyer reactions like South Park and How to Get Away with Murder. So click on the playlist and I'll see you in court.